Welcome back to our channel, dear viewers. Today is a truly beautiful day to delve into the glamorous, high-stakes, and endlessly dramatic world of Los Angeles fashion, where loyalty is often just a stepping stone to power. The gleaming glass and steel corridors of Forrester Creations have long served as the ultimate battleground for power, passion, and prestige, but behind the glittering facade of haute couture lies a crushing reality of corporate warfare. Yet, the atmosphere within the executive offices has recently grown increasingly toxic, suffocating the very creativity it claims to champion. The recent departure of Ivy Forrester was supposed to usher in a new era of peace and productivity for the jewelry division. After Ivy's manipulative schemes to keep Electra and Will Spencer apart were dramatically exposed, Ridge Forrester orchestrated a mutually agreed-upon exit for the scheming aunt, masking her disgraceful departure under the guise of maternity leave. In a move that was equal parts a reward for Electra's resilience and a desperate attempt to maintain stability, Ridge handed the reins of the prestigious jewelry line to his young, relatively inexperienced relative. It was heralded as a massive triumph, a golden opportunity for Electra to step out of the shadows and claim her rightful place in the family dynasty. However, the reality of this promotion has quickly morphed into a psychological and physical nightmare. Running a flagship division at a global fashion powerhouse is a monumental undertaking for even the most seasoned executive, but for someone with Electra's limited experience, it is proving to be a Herculean task that threatens to break her completely. The glamorous illusion of designing exquisite jewelry has been replaced by the grueling reality of endless supply chain logistics, brutal production deadlines, and the relentless demand for perfection. Night after night, the lights in her office remain burning long past midnight as she desperately tries to keep the division afloat, her desk a chaotic landscape of discarded sketches, empty coffee cups, and mounting anxiety. Adding to this immense pressure is the oppressive, authoritarian management style of Steffi Forrester Finnegan. Steffi has never been one to tolerate mediocrity, and her demand for absolute excellence leaves no room for the inevitable learning curve Electra is currently navigating. Every design is heavily scrutinized, every budget intensely debated, and every creative decision second-guessed by the Forrester brass. The ghost of Ivy's tenure still haunts the corridors, and Electra is acutely aware that any failure on her part will be met with swift and unforgiving judgment. It is within this environment of profound vulnerability and utter exhaustion that Will Spencer makes his calculated entrance. Will is not merely a man attempting to rebuild a shattered romance. He is the heir to the ruthless Spencer Publications empire and the son of Logan Spencer and Bill Spencer. He possesses the emotional intuition to understand Electra's pain and the predatory corporate instincts to capitalize on it. The broader context of the Los Angeles fashion war is critical to understanding the magnitude of Will's impending proposition. Katie and Bill Spencer have just executed a masterstroke of corporate aggression, launching the debut collection of the newly revitalized Logan brand to massive, unprecedented global acclaim. The Logan brand is currently riding a massive wave of momentum, but they are facing a desperate, existential crisis. They urgently need a new lead designer. With Eric Forrester firmly entrenched back at Forrester Creations and absolutely furious over the theft of his intellectual property, Katie and Bill are scrambling to find a visionary talent who can sustain their newfound success and create a legitimate, original collection for their next fashion event. There has been rampant speculation that they might attempt to poach disgruntled talents like Hope Logan Spencer and Deke Sharp. But Will Spencer has set his sights on a much more shocking and devastating target. Stepping into Electra's dimly lit office, surrounded by the physical evidence of her burnout, Will Spencer delivers an offer that is as intoxicating as it is dangerous. He does not approach her with empty platitudes or generic words of encouragement. Instead, he offers her a tangible, immediate escape from her living nightmare. He proposes that Electra pack up her sketches, abandon the crushing weight of the Forrester legacy, and transition her entire jewelry line to the Logan brand. Will's pitch is a masterclass in psychological manipulation and emotional resonance. He articulates the very fears and frustrations that Electra has been desperately trying to suppress. He looks her in the eye and tells her the brutal truth. At Forrester Creations, she will forever remain a subordinate. No matter how brilliant her designs are, no matter how many sleepless nights she endures, she will always be viewed as the young, inexperienced niece. But at Logan, Will argues everything will be different. At Logan, she would not be an underling fighting for approval. She would be the marquee star, the crown jewel of a rising empire. She would have the freedom to execute her wildest creative visions without the constant, suffocating oversight of Ridge and Steffi. It is an offer of pure empowerment, a golden ticket out of the exhausting labyrinth of Forrester Creations. For Electra, the proposition triggers a violent internal earthquake, tearing her loyalties in completely opposite directions. On one hand, the sheer relief of Will's offer is overwhelmingly tempting. The thought of escaping Steffi's relentless micromanagement, of having access to a bottomless budget, and of finally being recognized as an independent visionary is a deeply seductive prospect. Her physical and mental health are rapidly deteriorating, and Will is offering her a lifeline that could not only save her sanity, but also catapult her career into the stratosphere. She knows in her heart that she possesses the talent to build a global brand, and a Logan platform would provide her with a perfect stage. To take that opportunity, cultivate her designs using Forrester resources, and then suddenly defect to the rival Logan brand would be a betrayal of Shakespearean proportions. It would be a direct, humiliating slap in the face to Ridge, who championed her, and to Steffi, who demands absolute loyalty. It would ignite a firestorm of familial outrage that could permanently sever her ties with the Forrester dynasty. Furthermore, this decision is inextricably linked to the volatile, escalating love quadrangle that currently dominates her personal life. R.J. Forrester has been fiercely pursuing Electra, attempting to win her heart while simultaneously launching aggressive accusations against Will Spencer. R.J. has been deeply paranoid, loudly proclaiming to anyone who will listen that Will is nothing more than a corporate spy, infiltrating Forrester Creations to gather intelligence for his mother's rival fashion business. However, if Electra accepts Will's offer, she will inadvertently prove RJ's paranoid theories completely and undeniably correct. Will's attempt to poach the head of the Forrester jewelry division is the ultimate act of corporate espionage, a ruthless Spencer tactic designed to cripple the enemy while strengthening his own family's empire. By aligning herself with Will and the Logan brand, Electra would not only be betraying her family's company, but she would also be validating every toxic accusation RJ has hurled at her former lover. It would completely shatter whatever fragile connection she has been building with RJ, transforming a romantic rivalry into a bitter, scorched-earth corporate war. The historical weight of this potential defection cannot be overstated. The feud between the Forrester and Logan families, often exacerbated by the ruthless interventions of the Spencer Empire, is the foundational bedrock of Los Angeles high society. Generations of betrayals, stolen designs, and corporate sabotage have defined relationships between Brooke, Katie, Ridge, and Bill. Electra is now standing on the precipice of becoming the latest, and perhaps most devastating, pawn in this endless generational conflict. By crossing enemy lines, she would be pouring gasoline on an already raging inferno of resentment between Brooke and Katie. Brooke Logan Forrester is already seething with vindictive fury over Katie and Bill's unauthorized use of Eric's designs. She views the success of the Logan brand as a grotesque desecration of the Forrester legacy and is actively plotting with Ridge to launch a massive retaliation. If Katie and Bill were to suddenly announce that they had successfully poached a member of the Forrester family to lead their new design initiative, Brooke's anger would reach apocalyptic levels. The defection of Electra would be viewed not just as a business maneuver, but as a deeply personal, targeted attack on the Forrester family's honor and integrity. As Electra sits in the heavy silence of her office, staring at the glittering diamonds on her desk, and then up at the extended hand of Will Spencer, she is paralyzed by the magnitude of her impending choice. The safety of the gilded Forrester cage is suffocating her, but the freedom of the Logan Empire comes with a price tag of absolute betrayal. The stakes have never been higher for this young designer. She is no longer just a pawn in Ivy's manipulative games or a prize to be won in the bitter rivalry between RJ and Will. Electra Forrester is now a powerful player on the board, holding a decision that could fundamentally reshape the landscape of Los Angeles fashion. Will she remain loyal to the family name that is slowly grinding her into dust? Or will she embrace the ruthless ambition of the Spencer world, delivering a devastating blow to Ridge and Steffi in exchange for her own independent glory? The fashion world holds its breath as Electra prepares to make a choice that will echo through the halls.